You're going to see
Yeah.
that here in a few minutes.
Yeah,
Well,
he's got like a
let's
little
take
bit of
a look at how he
everything.
walks across the map.
So this string is 4-2, and it's kind of like his baseline, like, go-to string. It's got a crushing blow. It's good for punishing. One neat thing is
Interesting sweep there.
yeah, he uses his guns and his data spike a lot, which is pretty cool. Both of his throws have crushing blows, the typical crushing blow requirement, which is always really strong in this scheme.
Spikes coming out of his feet. That's incredible.
Do you think their data spikes as well? Like, can he upload stuff with his feet?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's.
Yes.
I think that's canon. Sure. Let's take a look at his normals.
Okay, so yeah, his 4-2 is awesome as a stagger string. He can do throws after it. He can loop it. I'll do the crushing blow here. This is just for doing a counter hit or punish. This is RoboCop, his back too. He just bops you and it's like his combo starter.
RoboCop.
So this is interesting. His back one is like his fastest hit. And the bombs are part of the normal. You can do close, medium, or far. So it's like a special move basically. His back three is a low with really good range. He doesn't really have like a great overhead to mix them up, but it's pretty good. And this is like his main pop-up, forward 4. Really good range, decently fast, but the last hit's a high, so you can just duck and punish it. So you can't just do it willy-nilly, but if you like whiff in front of him, you're gonna get hit by that and bigly damage.
Bigly damage. Let's take a look at some specials from the default.
So this is his default loadout. He of course has the auto 9, and it is a great projectile. It's super fast. You can amplify it for really good damage. And the Cobra Cannon is awesome. So probably the notable thing here is the pushback on block when you amplify it, which I'm about to show. You go way back. So if you're trying to slowly advance through it, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And while it's a high, the other two hits are mid, so if you're trying to slowly advance, he can push you way back and just start that zoning over again. Then he's got this shoulder cannon, which is pretty similar to bombs in the past game. They're great for space control. He can put them out, force you to move. Then he has an anti-air gun, which is really fast, covers a ton of space, recovers pretty fast. And he has this neat parry, and this is cool because it actually parries projectiles, well, it absorbs them. And it acts as a parry for normal attacks, so I think we're about to show it. And this has a crushing blow, and the requirement is to parry a wake-up attack. And this is one of my favorite crushing blows in Aftermath, because it's simple, but it's so satisfying. So the shield is kind of cool because he's got this really good zoning, and it's very hard to advance because of the Cobra Cannon pushback. And if you try to counter with your projectile, he can absorb your own projectile. And then even when you get in close, he has a parry. So it's pretty cool.
I love the new reaction when the Kano had, where when you did the grab off of his wake up was really cool.
And then the shoulder cannon, that's directable, right, Stephanie?
Exactly. Yes. You can put that in front of where they're going to be behind them. Yeah.
And if you amplify it, it gives it different properties to how the shoulder cannon will actually work.
Regular base, it will just knock you over and do more damage, but variations have different versions of it that we're probably going to see pretty soon.
Ooh.
Let's take a look at variation 2.
Well, this is variation 1.
Oh, what variation 1? Sorry, my bad.
So this has a command grab. It picks you up with data spike. And the fun thing is if he amplifies it, he can turn you around or actually carry you for a little while for really far wall carry. And it's super fun to do because you're picking him up like they're a child or something. And this has a crushing blow. It's true. for punishing a wake-up roll. So like the idea would be if you throw them into the corner, you think they're going to try to roll out of the corner, roll past you, you pause, do that, they're going to take a lot of damage. Then he has this advancing or retreating auto 9. And he'll slowly walk forward or back, and you decide at what point you want to let it go, or you can cancel it. You also look really intimidating, which I think is important.
The animation team nailed his walk too.
It's so good, right?
Oh man.
And then lastly, he gets these amplified bombs, which, as Derek was saying earlier, have a different reaction. Now they shock you, and he gets a combo starter. So this variation has a command grab and significantly better space control with his bombs. Like the reward is better.
Awesome. Love the command grab there and being able to turn around and just walk with them. That's awesome.
It's very, very fun. It's, yeah, very obnoxious.
Let's take a look at variation 2.
So this one is probably the best zoning one. His auto 9 becomes this low gun. It hits mid. I'm just calling it low gun because he goes low. But this is super fast, and it has a crushing blow for going under a projectile.
Ooh.
Man.
Hate to see that
Does
happen.
that all the time.
He also gains this flamethrower, which is awesome for pressure. Because, you know, they're not knocked down, and then he gets a lot of advantage. He can go up, do his forward 2 pressure, do a throw, whatever. If the opponent hits a button, they're taking a huge risk. And then he gains this rocket, which to me is the star of this variation. It is awesome. It is super fast. It has a long trail. It's really good if the opponent's jumping around like a maniac. It will anti-air like crazy. It is a high, but it's very difficult to react to. It's like one of those projectiles where the opponent's going to use a lot of mental energy, just kind of looking for it to duck.
All right.
And so basically,
I love the skin there too.
So with like that variation, you basically would kind of want to zone for a while, and if they start to get close, use the flamethrower to push them right back, right?
Exactly. So it's like pretty good mix up close to the flamethrower, and then I think the best zoning that he has for sure, and counter zoning with the crushing blow from the low gun.
Yeah, that's a wild crushing blow. That's all I'll say. Let's go into variation 3.
So this one is like trap based kind of, but first he gets this shoulder charge. This is his armor breaking move, and it has a crushing blow on it by itself for countering from full screen. Yeah, I think I'm doing it as an armor break now.
There it is, yep.
So this is an example of an armor. Oh yeah, that's a lot. This is an example of an armor breaker that's only in one specific variation, which is there's like 7 to 10 characters that have an armor breaker like that. So you're going to have to decide if you want that armor breaking. You know, you're going to give up like the low auto 9 or the command grab in variation 1 and 2, but you'll have the access to that. So it's always the balancing act of what do you prioritize.
Right. We have another video still for variation 3.
So this changes his bombs. Instead of the regular bombs, he gets these police strip, and that will do dot damage. It kind of works like Aaron Black's acid. And if he amplifies it, it becomes tear gas. So this normally does dot, but then also, if the opponent sits in it too long, they'll get stunned, and then he gets a combo. And he can have both out at the same time, which really, you can see his life bar really adds up.
Man.
Just melting them.
Then he also gets this electrify move, and what this does is if the opponent attacks him, they will take damage. So this makes him like the king of closing out games. Like he can poop out a bunch of the caltrops, turn on the electric thing, and then the opponent, if they're just standing there, they're gonna die. If they attack them, they're gonna die. So they're just gonna die. So if they have like 5% left, he's just, you're going to die.
Yeah,
Solid plan. That's a solid plan.
And
Yeah.
nasty in the corner too, probably as well. using all those
Exactly.
traps. Right on. Let's take a look at the
Yeah.
fatal blow. Oh, go ahead.
I'll say after this.
Cool.
I love Ed 209. The roar always gets me. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Why does he roar?
Because it can.
So you were gonna say something before the Fatal Blow there?
Just overall, you can see what I mean. Where his normal attacks are just what are my 3 ranged moves? Like what there's not a lot of complex stuff here. But then his variations, the special moves are where it's like, oh, I feel like being a grappler or a zoner or a trap-based character or whatever, which is
Right.
a pretty neat design thing, I think.
Absolutely. And let's look at a fatality. That little bonk is one of my favorite sound designs in that whole thing with the grenade hits him in the head. So
Yeah,
that is RoboCop, and just like the other characters we've shown for Aftermath, a lot of different styles that any type of player can find their home somewhere in RoboCop, Fujin, or Shiva. I would say. Would you agree with that?
definitely. And like a lot of the guest characters, they're pretty easy to pick up and play. Like you can have some complex like mix-up options with a special move if you want, but like his normal attacks, like if you are you're the type of player that you play through story mode and you just want to arrest bad guys with RoboCop, like he has a very simple, easy to use move set. If you just want to, do 4-2-1 and throws and get some wins, you're good to go.